All right, thanks everybody for joining us this evening. This is the Parks, Recreation and Culture Committee for CB9. Welcome everybody. Remind me if we normally do introductions. I know we didn't meet last month, so do we want to just go around and introduce ourselves? My name is Courtney Loisel. I'm the vice chair of the committee. Khalid, do you want to go next?
Good evening all, good night. My name is Khalid Jamaat, Community Associate at CB9.
Great. How about Brenda?
Hello, Brenda Pagan, community resident. Hi, Naima. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Brenda, I miss you.
I miss you too.
And there's
Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh, go ahead.
This is David Romeo, community member.
Thank you, David. Nice to hear you tonight. Is there a C. Zimmerman?
Hi, I'm Christian Zimmerman. I'm the Vice President for Capital and Landscape Management for the Prospect Park Alliance.
Thanks, Christian, for joining us tonight. And I see Alexis McKenzie, also from the Prospect Park Alliance.
Yes, I'm the Community and Government Relations Coordinator at the Alliance. Happy to be here.
Thanks, nice to see you. How about Marley Tavlin?
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you. Nice to speak to you again, Alexis McKenzie, and nice to see everyone else. I'm a postdoctoral student working on community engagement with the Prospect Park Zoo, and my colleague Bill is here as well.
Great, nice to see you. Bill, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Bill Elliston. I'm the Curator of Education at Prospect Park Zoo. In about 20 minutes, just so everybody knows, I'm going to head out to help an 8-year-old with her homework.
Thanks, Bill. And Naima?
Hi, my name is Naima Wood, and I am a committee member with the group.
Hi, Naima.
Hello.
Gloria? I saw her a minute ago.
She's muted.
Oh, Gloria, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my name is Gloria Briggs. I'm the manager of the Community Garden, Union Street Community Garden and Community Development. I am as well as part of the Board 9.
All right, thank you, Gloria.
You're welcome.
And Jen Chen?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jen Chen. I am a resident in Community Board 9, and I'm also founder and board chair of Brooklyn FAM, Festival of Arts and Music, which is a community building arts 501c3. We're based in the neighborhood. We serve the whole borough. We're a community partner with Prospect Park Alliance. Hi, Alexis McKenzie. And I wanted to share about our work with the committee today. Thank you for allowing me to join.
Thank you, Jen. And last, because I know Julia was calling. Julia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm on the Prospect Park committee, and I've been on the committee for a number of years.
Great, thank you.
Oh, and I got Nicholas. He said he's going to be here in 5 minutes.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And did I miss anybody? Good. All right, excellent. I know at this time we're without a secretary. Is there someone who would volunteer to take notes for tonight?
Started taking some, Courtney.
Oh, thank you so much, Khalid. I really appreciate that. All right, so at this time, I think we can turn it over to Marley Tavlin to present about the Wildlife Conservation Society.
Bill, do you want to also with me or? Okay, great. So essentially, the Wildlife Conservation Society, which operates all 5 zoos and the New York Aquarium, is seeking to reimagine everything as a community hub for conservation. We're starting in Brooklyn and actually starting with Prospect Park Zoo. So I'm here really to learn from the community to see how we can build out educational programming that's most relevant for the community, to become really a resource for conservation education and living sustainably. So I really just want to learn from the community. My goal is to do focus groups so that truly like the community voices can be heard. And Community Board 9 is really right up against the zoo. So I felt it was great. Thank you all for having me and including me.
Yeah, I think Marley, you said that well. One of the things that the Prospect Park Zoo has been really interested in, especially like post-COVID, is making more of an impact and being more relevant to our community members, and being a member of the community, right? I think we've kind of operated as part of the Wildlife Conservation Society and running the zoo and running family programs and school programs and summer camps and birthdays and all of those things. But we haven't really taken a pause to, put down some community roots. And this is a multi-year, venture for us. We're not kind of trying to come in, spend a year pretending that we're interested in, engaging the community. But Marley, for example, is here a minimum of 3 years. I've been in Windsor Terrace and, in, the areas around Brooklyn or around the zoo since 2001. So I think we're really trying to tap into both community boards and, community groups and schools and churches and things like that. So we're open to any contacts, any ideas. And we're just getting started in, kind of a listening tour and in, and engaging people. Just today, we were emailing with Ms. De Jesus, who's the vice principal of PS 249, which is the Caton School. We have a relationship with them. We've started talking with PS 375, which is, right around the corner from the zoo. That's Jackie Robinson. So we're really making, we're dedicating some resources, some time to this. So even though I have to duck out, Marley will be here, and we're hoping to join more of these. So any ideas or, people that you think we should be talking to, feel free to reach out at any point and let us know. And thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for including us in this committee. And like Bill said, we really just want to learn with and from the community to build out programming that is relevant for Brooklyn and for the area right around Prospect Park Zoo. So just any input, anything is we're so grateful.
Are you taking questions?
Sure, yeah, I will be here the whole time. Bill, like you said, it has an 8-year-old. I have a dog, she could wait. So I'll be here the whole hour and a half, and I can share my email. Any of you can email me at any time.
I see, Jane, you have a question? I see you have your hand up.
Oh, yes.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing about this initiative. It's very exciting. I am a resident of CB9, as I mentioned. I'm a parent to a 5-year-old, and I'm very active in the parent community in Prospect Lefferts Gardens and this part of Flatbush. So I'm happy to, suggest connections with the parent community if you want to reach out to that specific demographic for your focus groups or any kind of research, questionnaires, things like that. So if you share your email in the chat, I'll email you and we can try to connect that way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That would be beyond perfect.
We love what you do. All the family, we all love what you do. And I know that I know a number of families would be excited to share ideas, brainstorm, and be active in this initiative. So
That's great. And actually, Jen, I'm interested in what you're doing too. I used to help run something called Communicable Arts, which is a Brooklyn-based theater company that did free Shakespeare performances throughout parks in New York City. So I feel like we probably have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there might be ways we could collaborate. That would be terrific.
That would be, yes, and we would also love to collaborate, partner with anyone in the community, and like I said, really just learn from and with. And it is an exciting initiative that we're able to do this work, and I'm so passionate about it. I don't see a chat. Does anyone see it?
No, we're not allowed to have a chat. That's
Oh,
another.
you're not. Okay.
Another issue.
Is there a way I can share?
My question, my hand's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, Julia? Yeah.
So my question is, I've been around a long time, and I honestly have never been to the zoo. And for all this happy talk of how friendly the zoo is, I don't feel like it's friendly at all. I don't feel like it's welcoming. And my primary question to you is, why now? Why are you making this initiative to the Black and Brown community? Because I've always felt like you have been serving Park Slope and the white community, and our side of the street is just sort of like, come if you want, whatever. I've never seen one advertisement. I've never seen any notices. I've not seen them in the CB9 notice, nothing. So my question is exactly, why now? What happened?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And first, I think, yeah, I want to acknowledge those oversights because I think it's true. You know, the education department specifically at Wildlife Conservation Society started working DEI initiatives into our our internal mission and into our internal practices about 5 years ago in earnest. And so this is part of the long-term strategy to to be inclusive. COVID put a little bit of a damper on that, but I think you're absolutely right. There's just, I don't think people have, at least people in leadership, have thought about how are we inclusive, what are we doing? And I will say that when I lived in Vermont before this, and we underwent, I think probably a broader scope of change than we might be able to enact in the short term here at the zoo, because we were just one institution up in Vermont, and we are one of 5 institutions that also exists in 60 countries as part of WCS. So progress that we can make, the ways that we can do that at a larger organization are a little bit different. But we in Vermont were realizing that in Burlington, we had 60 years worth of refugee relocation communities that were in Burlington. And when we looked at the science center where I was, we saw the same people that kind of one would expect to find at a science center, right? Middle, upper middle white people. And we thought, what is going on? We have 60 years of communities from other countries that are here. Why aren't they coming? Of course, everybody thought, well, it's because you have to pay to get in. When we started digging into it and we did a multi-year study, we did, it took years of us going into communities and having conversations like this and saying like, we can provide these services, writing grants with other community members and organizations. It took years of doing that to even, to kind of change the needle or move the needle on that. And we ended up doing things like changing where the welcome desk was in the, in the institution. We changed like how easy it was to get to the bathrooms, right? Because we were right on the waterfront as part of the public waterfront property, but the way we had it set up, you had to pay to get to the bathrooms, but you didn't need to, right? So those kinds of changes are things that I've been part of before, and I'm hoping that we can enact those kinds of things here in Brooklyn as well.
And Bill, I'm sorry if I can say also add to that, Julia, 100%, your feelings are completely valid and right. And
I don't.
Sorry.
I don't need to be validated. I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah, I'm sorry. No, but I just want to, that's,
Be careful with that. Okay, just move on, move on.
the reason now is because, to be frank, there's the education department at Prospect Park Zoo is about 4 people, who, it's a very small department. And there's now funds for a postdoctoral student like myself. And I just started in June. And I've been trying to build inroads, and I apologize again for anything offensive that I said. But also the larger zoo and museum world in general is recognizing this is an issue, not just in America, worldwide. And so trying to figure out solutions the best we can.
We're in dialogue. We're in dialogue. It's all right.
Yeah, I know. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
No. You don't need to apologize. Just understand we're in dialogue.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, to be 100% transparent, it's the funds were able to come up for a postdoctoral student. I've lived in New York City my entire life. I'm extremely passionate about informal education and making it accessible, not even accessible, but engaging as much of the community. And I know my mom, I'm 4th generation New Yorker. My mom was a DOE teacher for 12 years. I've grown up knowing and being so frustrated with the issues, even though I was thankfully able, I was privileged enough to go to Central Park Zoo, all these things when I was growing up. And that is why I am so passionate about this and took this postdoc and just like I said, I'm just. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm wishing you the best, and we have other people. We're going to be here all night if we just stay on this.
I have a question. Hello.
Yes.
There are 2 hands raised. Who's going to acknowledge the hands that are raised? Courtney?
Yeah, I see that Brenda has her hands raised.
Okay. So I just want a little clarification from Prospect Park Wildlife Conservation Society. Love it, but it's a multi-year program. Is that what you said?
So we currently have funds for 3 years for Marley's position. So that's what we're starting with. And
so what the program is just to study the issue. What is the program?
No, we're going to start by studying, what's happening and talking with people in the community. And then our end goal is to, hopefully sooner, but by the end of 3 years, have sustainable partnerships, have programs in place that can continue, and use these 3 years to establish a foundation upon which we can build and have, have these the places that we're learning and the things that we're doing continue on in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon.
Jen has her hand raised.
I think we have Jen Chen hand raised, and then I like to speak forward.
Thank you. Really quickly, I just wanted to say that I put my email address in the name in my name, if that's helpful. So it's brooklynfaminfo@gmail.com. So please send a message. I look forward to connecting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, good afternoon. I have a question. I mean, I'm not on Zoom, so you can't see my hands being raised. I'm very happy that you guys started to contact different schools and try to get the kids involved. Are there any plans to have internship programs for these youngsters to see what jobs might be available working with the Brooklyn Wildlife Conservancy? Any plans to incorporate some of these young people into employment, et cetera, et cetera?
Yep, absolutely. The short answer is yes. And we can go into more details of that. I don't know how much time we want to take in this meeting, but yes, we have internships. We have paid internships. And there are a number of jobs that, you know, we would like to make sure that people get to know about in the community, and not just stuck on Idealist and, you know, Monster.com and things like that.
Yes, that's something that's been in place for a few years at this point. My best, like I said, I don't want to take up everyone's time. If anyone wants to Google, because I could also, I know we can't really share emails. I wish there was a way that I could share mine.
You can share your email with the staff
Okay,
here. So if you want to share your email, that would be very much helpful, and then it could be sent out.
perfect. We have a career lattice, which we've been working on for years. My supervisor in research and evaluation works on it at the Bronx Zoo, but it's for all of the zoos and the aquarium. And it really is a concerted effort to get New York City youth into paid internships, which very emphasis on paid because of the importance of that, and then to lattice them, or, you know, have them feed into actual careers. So anyone could Google that, or like I said, if anyone wants to reach out, I think they have my email, but I will also share it again. I'll try to change my name as well.
Jen Chen. I have Marlene's email. I can share it with you. Do you have no problems? You have no issue with me sharing your email? Okay.
Perfect.
'Cause that's the thing, because it goes online. So we just try not to, you know, share people's information. But Jen, it's okay. I'm going to send it to you as well. All right. Kyrie had his hand.
Nicholas, your mic's open.
Was there a question from Kyrie Aline, and then we should move on, I think?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. And Happy New Year to everyone online and my fellow board members. My question is just a quick follow-up with regards to employment and the internship rates for and internships that will be available for the youth. I thought that was a great question to ask. My major concern is that there will be some type of commitment guaranteed to the members of CB9 of the community. So maybe a 50% commitment of saying that the jobs or the new hires of employment will be from within the community, or internships. We will have, and when I say we, members of CB9 and neighboring communities will have first dibs at these different jobs and opportunities. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a great idea. I'm definitely gonna, you know. take
Actually,
that-
I would,
Yep.
yeah, I'm really serious about that because I also sit on the Public Safety Committee. And recently, you know, the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, they're opening up a whole new staffing opportunity there. But long story short, they were going to have 36 new employment opportunities available. And myself and other members, we got them to commit in writing since they want to do good for the community, and it is going to better the community. And it seems as though this is what you all are saying as well. We wanted them to get it in writing, and they did. They committed to at least a minimum of 50% of employment coming directly from members of the community. And I would like for you all to, even if it's just brief talks now, we could always follow back up, but I would love for us to get some type of commitment to guarantee our people in CB9 that they will have an opportunity to not only visit and experience the fun, but also benefit and work as well.
I think it's that's a great point.
Thank you.
The only thing that we can't complete, I wish we could say yes, but.
No, you can't now, that's fine.
I don't think
It
we
took
can,
us
we
about a
don't need
couple-
to address anything now.
Go
We
into
just
that.
taking
Okay.
in- yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we
I
can
would,
go
I have my
back and
email
forth.
here. Please email me. Please email me. I would love to talk more further about that. It's a great idea, like Phil said.
Thank you. But actually, this idea we want to actually happen. So whatever we need to do, and if I need to come and, you know, work with the board as well. I mean, we would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill and Marley, for your presentation and taking questions tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna run and help someone with math here.
Homework time. All right.
But can I say, let's hope this is not your first and only visit. I'm looking forward for a continuing relationship
Yes.
with the Brooklyn Zoo. And hopefully we'll have some conversation in between so we could establish the kind of relationship we're going to do. Oh, by the way, I don't think you identify myself. My name is Nicolas Almono. I'm the chair of this particular committee. I want to thank my well competent and able vice chair for starting the meeting for me. I thought I was going to be getaway at Assemblyman Cunningham. Inauguration. So we're going to carry on and go on to the next step in the agenda, which is I think it's the Prospect Park Alliance. Please, if you're ready to say something, the floor is yours.
You get yourself something.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm going to share my screen now. Is that okay, Christian?
Yes.
All right. Give me one moment.
Thank you for having us for this evening. We'll be talking about the Northeast Perimeter, the Vale project, which is at the northeast end of the park along Flatbush Avenue.
Can everyone see that?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. All right, take it away, Christian.
Okay, so the project that we're showing you now is currently in design. We're going through the approvals process. It is, you could go to slide 11. There we go. This just gives you a sense of where it is. It's approximately 10 acres. It is 3 separate projects all within this area. We call it the Upper Vale, the Lower Vale, and the Northeast Pavilion. It's right along, just on the other, it's in the former Rose Garden and also what's called the Vale or the Children's Pool. Next. Historically, the Upper Vale, which is the first part I'm going to talk about. So people, I know a lot of you lived in the neighborhood for a long time, so you're probably familiar with this area. It is called the Rose Garden, though we don't have any roses at the moment. Originally on the left, Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux designed it as the first playground in Prospect Park in 1867. So it had seesaw swings, what was considered play elements back then. And it's where our first carousel was constructed and installed as well. Later on in the 1890s, there was an architecture firm that came in and they turned it into a rose garden. This predates the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. So this is where they had formal gardens, and that fell out of disrepair. And then in the WPA area, or the 1930s, it was replanted in a different way. And then in the 1960s, during our centennial, it became what you see here as a formal lawn area with fountains. What remains today are 3 concrete basins. The fountains do not work. The big plant material has overgrown in the area, and it's an underutilized space. Next. This is the site plan. This is a rendering of what we are proposing. If you look in the upper right, you'll see a pathway. That's the new Flatbush Avenue entrance. That's the major entrance that we constructed as part of the Parks Without Borders project. So popping 2 new entrances, creating access, because one of the biggest things that we realized, and in all our community outreach meetings, which we had extensively, that Flatbush Avenue to Prospect Park was inaccessible. It was a solid fence line. Yes, there were holes punched in, but there were holes punched in because people wanted to get to the park from this area. And we, in analyzing it, we were able to create these two new entrances. This is the first entrance that was constructed in the park since the 1940s. So it's been a long time, and it's a long time coming. That said, we also wanted to make this an accessible area, not only accessible inviting, but accessible ADA accessible. This is an area that if you are wheelchair bound, or if you're pushing a stroller, if you're on crutches, if you're just a little in those situations, it's very difficult to navigate. So we wanted to make this inviting and completely accessible. The four main elements, as you can see, we have a pollinator meadow, a planted arbor, nature exploration area. We currently have that down in the lower end, which is called the Zucker Exploration Area. That came about after Hurricane Sandy. And then we have a lawn seating area, and we have what's called the Northeast Pavilion, which is mainly restrooms. That was a big community ask, that we create restrooms. The closest restroom in this area, the closest bathroom or nearest in the park, is the picnic house over along on the Prospect Park west side. Or if you go down to your section, your neighborhood, it's the Lincoln Road Comfort Station. So it's the Lincoln Road's Comfort Station or the picnic house. So this is about halfway between those two. So we're desperately in need of restrooms within the park. We can go to the next. This shows you a plan for creating accessibility. So you can see where the blue pavement will be changing the grades, the elevations for the pathways. And when we're creating new paths, which you see going in the middle of this area, and you also see in an orange natural surfacing area, those are new elements, and those will be completely accessible as well. Next. A big part of what we're doing these days is creating pollinator meadows or accommodating habitat for wildlife, such as birds and also pollinator species like insects. We are on the Eastern Flyway for migratory birds, and we feel it's important as part of this urban park to be a resting ground as well, not only for the public, for people to be able to use and relax and recuperate from the busy days, but also have our wildlife, our birds as they migrate back and forth. So this would be a meadow that you would see, and it's connected to a woodland area that we're also restoring, doing our traditional woodland restoration. Next. This gives you a sense of what it will be. If you look to the right, that would be our pollinator meadow, and on the left would be more of a woodland restoration. And that path, if you walk in at Flatbush Avenue, if you currently walked in that way, you'd see a small staircase. And what we're doing is we're going to eliminate that, lay it flat, and that allows us to create this as a 5% path, which meets accessibility standards. Next. We are also including an arbor. This is an arbor with, we're showing wisteria as an example of what we could do to plant it. We're not quite sure yet. It isn't, we'll be going through, that is not a native plant, but we're just trying to show that we want to have seating areas. We want to have seating areas on the cover and areas where people can look at the meadow itself. There will be a stone wall. It's a retaining wall to hold the slopes. And on top of that stone wall will be a railing. And that railing will have, on the bottom of the rail, will have a description of what is going on in the pollinator meadow, what are the species, and we'll have that description in Braille. We don't have anything like that in the park, and we think it's an important element to add that we can. There will be descriptive signs, but we also want to include Braille. Next. We're also fencing off areas, low fencing. We want to protect the corridor, the pollinator meadow and the plant material. And a number of community people really wanted us to be able to separate that meadow area from the natural exploration area, because children, as you all know, will expand and run around and explore new areas. So the request was to create this low fence line. It's a 4-foot fence line. It's not unlike what we have in the woods right now. So it's similar to that, and it would be heavily planted on one side with shrubs, and then you have trees. And then you have, as you can see, the exploration area next to it. Next. This is the exploration area. So think of it as a natural play area. It is similar to what we constructed at Zucker, except the difference is we're using engineered wood fiber. So think of wood chips that are glued down using a resin. So that allows wheelchair access, stroller access, and then also wood cobble, if you will, for a pathway, and then there's also sand. But it has the traditional natural play items such as logs, boulders. There is a pump, a water pump for children to pump water, and we've created this water runnel that they can interact with. Lots of seating. We were asked to put in lots of seating in this area as well, and also more shade. It's a pretty open area in the middle, and then on the edges it's pretty heavily planted, but we're extending the trees a little further in. Next. This gives you an example of the materials. So on the left, you see a child in sand. There's a raised sand bed for accessibility. The pavement in the middle would be made of like black locust wood sets. It's all permeable. We're trying to control the stormwater as well. And then on the right is the wood fiber, and you see rock work and climbing structures. Next. Here's another picture, just a different view. In the foreground to the right would be the hand pump and that water runnel, and the canopy overhead. Next. The third area that we're looking at is currently it's a lawn area with a concrete basin in the middle. We would be removing that basin and then constructing a larger lawn area. It's a space to sit, relax in, walk along on the edge, sit and just interact. It's not a programmed space at all. It is just a natural, like a lawn area that you can sit in. To the left is the Northeast Pavilion, which I'll talk about soon. That has a seating area. You see where it says granite pavers and a granite wall. That would be an informal seating area. And lots of other benches. And there'll be standard drinking fountains, water bottle fillers, elements like that. And the roof on the pavilion will be a green roof. Next. This is a view. We are still working on the design, but this is the view of coming from the play area. You can see it is a small structure. You can go next. This is an aerial view. Obviously, we won't see it from this point of view, but it will be tucked into the hillside. And next. Oops. Other way. I think other way. Next. There you go. So we started out having a building that had a community center. It was a 30 by 30 foot conditioned space. And as we were going through this approval process and as we were getting more and more community input, the question was, why do we need that here? So we started analyzing it. When we first did the design, we started at, it was pre-COVID. And the Brooklyn Public Library had not built their community center, their welcoming, their community spaces. Now they have it seemed a little redundant here, and people asked us to really focus on what keeping the building as small as possible and really focusing on what the need is. And what the need is, we were told, is lots of restrooms, lots of bathrooms. In addition to that, there's always been a concern about, we build something and how do we take care of it? Thankfully, our organization has been working at creating an endowment and also increasing our operating budget to be able to take care of this area. And what we're doing is we'll have a dedicated staff of 3 gardeners that will take care of this area, and there will be a dedicated maintenance and operations staff of probably 3 people. In addition to that, there is an area for education outreach. We have Pop-Up Audubon out of the boathouse, and what we are looking at doing as an education program is not having interior space, but Pop-Up Audubon goes out into the landscape, meets the people where they are in the park, but they need storage. So we'll have a storage facility for education programs as well. This is also a composting bathroom, much like the one at the well house. So we will not be impacting the city's sanitary and stormwater sewer. It's a combined sewer system. So we want to keep it off of the grid so it is self-contained. And we will have the water consumption will be much reduced, and we won't be impacting the sewer at all. Next. This is a green roof. As part of the requirement in the city projects, the capital projects, we either have to have solar power panels on the roof, or we need to have a green roof. And we've chosen an intensive green roof because that can be a meadow. So it'll be about a 9-inch thick layer of soil, and then we'll plant it with herbaceous grasses, wildflowers. Think of milkweed, echinacea, a number of different species. We're still early in that phase, so we haven't landed on the actual species list, but they will be bird friendly, insect friendly as well. Next, this gives you a sense of what it will be. It's a 1-story building, bathrooms on the main level, a terrace on the upper level that allows you access. It's an unprogrammed space in the sense it's not rented out. We're not talking about a rental space here at all. It's a free public space that you could walk off of the main path on the upper level and just walk right out to the terrace. So you could see school groups, you could see yoga, you could see any different function, but we're not programming it in that manner. We're letting the public kind of utilize it. You see the green roof on the top, but it's using material. It's a contemporary building, but we're using material that is historically used throughout the park. So there's stone, there's steel, there's wood. Those elements are in the park throughout history, and we're just continuing that use just in a contemporary way. Next. This is another view, as you can see. And then if you go that way, so that's coming from Grand Army Plaza. This structure is about a 3 to 5 minute walk from Grand Army Plaza. And then go to the next one. This is coming from the other way on East Drive as you're going up that hill, and it's a couple minute walk that way. We picked this location because it's halfway between Grand Army Plaza and the East Drive. So those people who run, walk, bicycle up on the park drive, this is a perfect spot for that. And then if you're at Grand Army Plaza, using the Green Market or coming from that area, the library, and you've left. But if you're coming across in that area, and you need to use a restroom, it's very close as well. But you could walk out onto this deck or this roof and be able to look out over the landscape. But it's very close off of the path as well. I think the next one is, so that's the upper terrace and the upper vale. The next one is pretty much a preservation project, as well as adding habitat for wildlife. It's called the Lower Vale. It's the children's pool. That's where you see the dotted line at that point. Go to the next. This to the left is the original design from Olmsted and Vox. It was a model boat, children's play area. It changed, and you can see in the picture on the bottom, that's what it looked like in the 1860s, 1870s. Then it became Mead & One again. The architecture firm came through and made it a little more formal. And then during the WPA, they changed it again, and then they changed it again in the 60s. Go to the next one. And this is its current state. It is kind of like a ruin. It's a beautiful area. It's a big migratory bird area, but it's also this beautiful landscape that has such potential. But as you can see, it's falling apart. The pond that is supposed to be here does not function. So there's no water depth at all to speak of. The stone, as you can see, has been moved. The cobble has fallen in. The fencing is not great, and plants have overgrown and taken over where the pond is. Next. So our idea is to bring back the historic layers, bring back the pond. It would be about a 3-foot depth body of water, which was what it was historically. Save the yellow or the red brick, make that ADA accessible. Currently, this area is not accessible at all. There's staircases all around, and the one asphalt path without steps is too steep. We need to regrade that to make that more accessible and reset the brick to make that accessible. And then we'll redo the historic walls, the granite, bring the balustrade back, and then replant the herbaceous layer of the peninsulas, those landscaped areas. There's a really unique landscape there now with trees, overstory trees and shrubs, beautiful rhododendron and azaleas. We're keeping all of that material. We're just adding a herbaceous layer, a ground cover, if you will, to add for more habitat. Next. In addition to that, we're going to create bird baths that go into the water because of, if we're bringing back the depth, the 3-foot depth, we need to create access points for birds to feel safe and in shallow water. So we're going to create these water lily bird baths that are about 1 inch to 2 inches deep at most, but they'll be more aesthetic features. And then we'll be using a lot of planters to contain the plant material more in the aquatic. So the water lilies, lotus, whatever we're planting in there, we want them to not take over the pond, but stay within the contained areas. Next. This is what it'll look like when we're finished. You'll have the brick all reset. This is the balustrade. This is what it was in the 1890s. So the piers, the existing piers will be cleaned. The balustrade will be reconstructed, adding new, and then the plant material, the shoreline and the landscape will go right down into the water as opposed to that cobble edge wall. Next. This is another view, so you can see where we'll put water lilies. We'll create this soft edge landscape and adding a much thicker layer. So it'll be aesthetically for viewing for the public, and it'll also be habitat. And lots of benches. This is a great place to be sitting, and we want to create more of a sitting opportunity as well. We will also replace the welded wire mesh fence with a steel picket fence, not unlike we have in a lot of areas in the park, just to protect the plants, the landscape, but it'll be a lower fence tied into the existing piers. This is a timeline, kind of like where we are now. We're still doing the design approvals. We're going to the borough board because as a regional park, we are required to go to the borough president's office and the borough board to present as well. So we're in that design approval phase. And then after that, we need to go to the Landmarks Preservation Commission, and then we need to go to the Public Design Commission. So we have those approvals to do. And then we'll go up into our construction documents, creating the contract documents, the specifications, and the building design pages. And then it's about a year for procurement, bidding out, and then construction, we hope would start in 2025, and construction would end, we would complete it in 2026. Next. That kind of gives you a sense. These are all estimates at this point. If you had any additional questions, I mean, obviously I'll take questions now, but as we walk away from this, if you go, oh, I should have asked, please contact us. Alexis McKenzie is always open to get your questions. And if she can't answer them, she'll pass them along to me. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Julia has her hand raised.
Yeah, I wanted to commend you on this design. I am part of a group that we were looking at this design very carefully, and we were very disappointed in your original designs. And it's one of the few times that I'm actually pleased with the Prospect Park Alliance. Very specifically, I just want to state that we were very concerned that you were going to put some kind of performance space next to where people are doing birding, and that the bathroom space looks like a bathroom space to me. And I was very concerned, or we were very concerned, that it was going to turn into a wedding venue. And most of all, I'll end with this. I've always been interested in someone reconstructing that pool, because it just looked like something that was lost to the ages, and it looks like we're going to get it back. So I want to thank you.
Well, see, we listened to you. I mean, the pushback on that building.
I'm a little shocked because
we were really listening. We got pushed back pretty hard on the building and say, justify what.
Oh, you bet I spent a great deal of time pushing back. So
well, and we walked away. We really did walk away going, we have all these unused spaces, underutilized spaces now. Why are we creating another space that maybe or maybe not it'll be utilized? So we said, what do we really need? And it's not, I mean, we're not perfect by all means, absolutely. But in this case, we wanted to be understated, low profile, and really serve the need.
Yeah, I'm going to report back that I liked it so far. And we'll be able to get a copy of this presentation, right? It's online now, right?
It's not online right now because we're still going through the approval process. It's one of those kind of things, but yes, absolutely, it'll be available. And we keep pushing and pushing on the project as the design details, you know, how are we going to build it? What are the elements? We'll be coming back.
But this meeting has
so that we can look at it. This meeting is being recorded. Whatever is in here, we'll be able to review later. Okay?
Yeah, they can see it that way.
Yeah, we could review it later.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think there are a few questions. And time is over the essence because everybody is some we have. Just please raise your hand and then let's see what you got.
Jen has her hand raised.
Thank you for that presentation. Just want to commend you on the design as well. So many great components, and I think that pavilion will be hopefully well utilized by the community. As you know, the Concert Grove Pavilion, that covered space that opened up in April 2021, has been such a boon and was so needed as a communal gathering space for all kinds of groups. And so will that Northeast Pavilion be permissible, or will it be completely open to unprogrammed community gatherings?
So we'll be working with the Parks Department We're not sure they'll have a permit because the Concert Grove Pavilion, you can permit it. I think it's a $25 permit. We're not sure that if Parks will request doing that or do that, or just leave it completely open. We're so early in the stages, but at most, it would be permitted, like the $25 permit that they do, but so it wouldn't be, it's not a rental space in the same, it wouldn't be like, I mean, I guess you could have a wedding there if you just showed up. I mean, we have people in the woods having weddings, but it's not like the boathouse. It's nothing like that. But that will learn more.
I vote for non-permissible. I vote for it not being a permitted space so people can just, freely use it. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a permanent representative for Spectacular Alliance, which is our vice chair. We'll be keeping in contact, and also I do keep in contact with Ms. Kushner and Alexis Mackenzie Phillips. So anything else, this committee will follow up and we'll try to establish a good relationship and see what we can do. If there's any more question, we will move on with the agenda. The next
Thank you.
item in the agenda. Thank you for coming. You are welcome to stay.
Thank you, everyone.
And for the rest of the meeting.
Nicholas, repeat, you're breaking up. Courtney, can you move us to the next item until he gets back online?
I certainly can.
I
I was just
appreciate it.
finding where we were. Thank you. All right. So our next item on the agenda, until Nicholas has a little bit better sound, is our Pratt area focus group announcement. I'm not sure who's making the announcement, but hopefully you know who you are.
They are a group of students who interviewed members from the community regarding the Lefferts House and their graduate students. And I think they were originally scheduled for December. And since the school year has gone to the next, they're probably on break. So we're not going to hear from them, if ever. So I would suggest that we take it off the agenda, not keep moving it over until we hear from them, if we ever do. So that's my motion, or my recommendation. It's not a motion, it's just a recommendation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And maybe Nicholas has a direct contact that we can just confirm they're not coming. Okay, great. The next thing on the agenda is public commentary. If anyone would like to make public commentary, perhaps you can raise your hand in the using the raise hand function. We can acknowledge you. All right, we have Jen Chen. Do you want to go ahead?
Hi, everyone. I guess this would be the time that I could share about Brooklyn Fam. So I'm a founder and board chair of Brooklyn Fam. We're a relatively new community building arts 501c3. We got our 501c3 in April of 2022. Our mission is to create a space for folks throughout the borough of Brooklyn to connect through the arts. And, our programming is always free. We design neighborhood-specific events and a culminating flagship festival at the Prospect Park Boathouse in October. that are integrate live performances across all artistic genres, dance, theater, music, the visual arts, oral storytelling, hip hop, spoken word. So we integrate live performance with highly interactive activities like hands-on workshops and participatory public art projects. And our vision is a community where difference draws us towards one another out of curiosity and a desire to get to know one another. So our work always aspires to bring together people from different sub-communities across Brooklyn through the arts to have empathic, develop new empathic connections with each other in person through that person-to-person contact. So we develop our work through close partnerships with community organizations and artists, neighbors. We consider our outreach to be, at least 70% of the work. And so this year, we have a theme each year and 2 driving questions for our programming. This year's theme is multisensory storytelling for transformative healing. And our guiding questions are, what is a story that has shaped you? And how does sharing our stories heal us as individuals and as a community? So you might, I don't know if some folks in this group attended our festival this past October at the Prospect Park Boathouse, but we, at that festival, we celebrated Black and Asian diaspora cultures. We specifically strive to focus on underrepresented voices and on communities that have been facing social tensions or, within the communities, across communities. So we featured an Afro-modern storytelling dance company based here in Flatbush called Meteta Dance. They choreographed and performed 2 pieces specifically for our festival, 2 musical compositions composed by a Flatbush-based South African trumpeter and musician, Lesedi and Sane, whose 4-piece band performed live to the dance company. They also led a community dance workshop. We had Chinese Theater Works perform puppet theater and do a couple of Chinese games. They also brought 3 musicians who performed traditional Chinese instruments and led a large puppet procession with the community, involving community members through the park around the boathouse and the Lowell Water Bridge. And we had Imamulele, a Haitian ensemble, perform on tambu, and they led a hands-on tambu drumming workshop and a drumming circle. We had Flatbush-based artist Annie Del Hierro, who is also co-artist on the Flatbush Faces and Voices mural at Flatbush and Parkside, lead one of our participatory public art projects. It was called the Chair Project. We invited folks to collage on the upcycled wooden chairs and benches in response to the question, what does family mean to you? What does family mean to us? After the festival and at the end of our programming year, we install our public art projects in the Brooklyn community and activate them with live events. We installed our traveling year-round public art project, which was called the Wish Catcher, at the Brownsville Public Library in early December, and celebrated that with a storytelling event with folks from the Brownsville Heritage House and Pearls of Wisdom and the African Folk Heritage Circle. And so this coming year, we're going to activate the Chair Project installation that we installed those 3 pieces at local businesses in Flatbush at Zanmi, Loud Baby Cafe, and Names. And starting in March, we're going to activate those installation sites with storytelling events under the theme and the guiding questions of our 2023 programming. And then we'll migrate those 3 pieces to other sites in the borough of Brooklyn and activate them with storytelling events. We table and run a participatory public art project at our neighborhood events and at 2 tabling events. We table at BL Live on Belmont in Brownsville in June and at the One Crown Heights Festival in August. And the 2023 traveling public art project that we're going to build across these events is going to be a community quilt. We're collaborating with the Brooklyn Quilters Guild and a lead artist yet to be identified. We're doing research and we've reached out to some folks to develop that project. And our flagship festival in Prospect Park in October, we expect will represent artists from Jewish, Arab, Afro-Latino, and West African communities in Brooklyn. So we have started research and conversations with potential community partners for the festival, because it's going to be pretty exciting, we hope, and large event with lots of component parts. So we're talking with the Museum of Jewish Heritage, the Jewish Children's Museum, the Jewish Museum, the Arab American Family Social Center in Bay Ridge, with whom we did some work last year around the Little Amal visit to New York City, and other organizations, Afro-Latineers. We've already spoken to Yakubu Sissoko, who's an amazing Malian storyteller who is a master kora player, and others. So that's a bit about our work. We are currently building our capacity through volunteer recruitment. We're all volunteer run. We have a 5-member board and outreach and programming teams. We have a fundraising consultant, a graphic designer, and a couple of people who help us with grant writing as well. So if you know of people who might want to serve with us, please let us know. We do serve the whole borough, though our Flatbush, our flagship festival is here at Flatbush at the Prospect Park Boathouse. And we do have, specific events planned already for the Flatbush area this spring. I also served on the board of PLG Arts last year, and I spearheaded the PLG Arts Fest, conceived of that, and led the team to make that happen. And that was a very exciting event for our community. I hope that it happens again this year. And again, outreach was 70% of that work. Really try to connect with all of the amazing artists we have in this area. Brooklyn FAM is also a key community partner on the Flatbush Faces and Voices mosaic mural that I mentioned earlier at Flatbush and Parkside. We secured the building site. We helped the co-artists with their documents, and we secured the kiln that they used for firing their portraits. And we're hoping to tap into that mural to bring it alive through the storytelling events this spring in Flatbush. So you can learn more about us through our Instagram, which is at BKLYNFAM. But if you just search for Brooklyn FAM, you'll find us. And you'll see our link tree there, and you can email us at brooklynfaminfo@gmail.com. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Nicholas, are you back?
I'm sorry I got disconnected. This was some very wonderful announcement. So I was looking for the student, if they're not this today, we're going to be moving on the agenda. Okay. Is anybody here representing the group of guys?
We already dealt with that. Those are students and they're not here.
I Googled it, and they don't come back until the 17th for spring semester.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. At this point, we can move on with the agenda. I think the next topic of the item was public commentary. Is there any public commentary?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
So please raise your hand.
Yeah,
You have about 3 minutes.
This is David Romeo.
That's David
again.
Romeo.
Yes.
Yeah.
My public commentary, should be a public safety issue. But as you know, the public safety meeting is going on at the same time with this meeting, but I also think that this should be aired here too. One of the problems I have with I live in the community, I lived here for a very long time. And with the new delivery method, we have a lot of these e-bikes riding up and down the sidewalk, right, in the neighborhood. And it's not like, they're on the sidewalk and they're not doing 5 miles an hour, right? They're speeding down the sidewalk because I believe the more deliveries they make, the more tips they get, etc., etc. And I don't want to be, the Scrooge trying to upset their making their money. But at the same time, you have to take into consideration the safety of the people who use the sidewalk. The sidewalk now is coming like a new bicycle lane. And you can't hear these guys. The bikes are silent. You cannot hear these guys. This is an accident waiting to happen. Because they're going to hit somebody. That person's going to hit their head on the concrete, and that will be the end. I'm wondering what we could do to, to alleviate this problem.
I may answer. I think this is something we should bring to the safety committee. It seems to me it's a matter of enforcement, which means we gotta take it to the safety committee and see how we can work with the local precinct and how they can enforce this particular situation. I know this is safety of everyone is up time because you said it's an accident waiting to happen. I know of those accidents that has happened already with those bicycles and even with a regular bicycle, if you ride on the sidewalk and somebody get hit. So I will refer that. Unfortunately, Mr. Arlene left the safety committee. I will bring that to him. And I would advise you if you try to attend one of the safety committee's meeting. Unfortunately, they meet the same day we do.
Same time as we meet.
They meet usually the same second Tuesday. So one of the days, maybe you could just go there, but I will talk to them about it definitely. So, and see what can we do with the precinct to see how we can mitigate the situation. I understand a lot of us are concerned about the riding of the motor scooters and the delivery people, okay?
Okay.
Anybody else for public commentary?
I have my
Julia.
hand up.
Go ahead, Julia.
This is not particularly to Parks and Recreation. However, it has to do with Community Board 9. I just want to direct everyone's attention to the new initiatives by Mayor Eric Adams regarding the city of Yes. His proposals on a program called Blast, and that he has an initiative called Get Stuff Done. My reason that I would like you to direct your attention to this is that it is a program to gentrify the city in a way, the entire city in a way that we've unprecedented. And if we're not paying attention, it will happen before our very eyes and we won't see it. The primary issue for me is things can be built and there will be no distinction to, should it be there in a safe place? So my concern is that buildings are going to be built without parking. Initiated into the building. There are one of the initiatives, and I'm not joking, is that you could build a 30-story building and have no elevator. That would be a legal thing in New York City. And these things could come on and, people will say they didn't hear about it. And you're now not able to say, I didn't hear about it, I didn't know about it, because I just told you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Pay closer attention to it because there will be no parks, there will be no recreation if we're not here. So it's a bigger issue. Thank you.
I think also this is something that the housing committee should, the whole board should start working on that. Those definitely will. I think we should follow up on it because it's going to affect all of us. But I suggest also that if you can attend the board in 2 weeks, to also bring that to the whole community board and the whole community.
The ULURP committee is already working on it, so it's in the works. I'm just bringing it to our attention so that people, if you don't normally go to ULURP, then you probably are not hearing this. And this could happen to us. And, you know, people will say, oh, I didn't hear about it. No, you need to mention it in church. You need to mention it, you know, wherever you are, at the gym, because similar to the things about the bikes, this is happening to all of us. So.
I know Suki already had a workshop schedule regarding that. So we can also check the meeting for the ULURP in terms of that. I will also speak to the chair of the ULURP to see at what point where they are, so we could get some kind of a thing by next meeting, okay? At this time, we're going to move the agenda to all right, so next part is the talking about now we get the business meeting. Establish a secretary to take official note. I want to propose a suggestion that we rotate it amongst the members of this committee. If you miss something, you could always go on YouTube, review the session if you have the time, because what's most important to be noted is who's here, what resolution, who's present, who's absent, what resolution was taking place, and what the vote was. These are the main points. We already have the template for you to work. So what I'm thinking of doing, we'll do a schedule rotation for every members of that. So we'll probably give everybody a date. And that's the proposition I'm making. I would like to open that for discussion, and then we will decide, make a vote on it, and then so we'll do that. So we would like to talk about that now. Because we had a hard time getting the secretary elected, and Mr. Khalid Jamad has been gratefully been able to do that information for us. So, but I want to go, we're supposed to have somebody which is committee member to take care of this particular function. So what do you think about that proposition?
Nicholas, this is Courtenay. I would support that. I think we should come up with the list and just identify who's the next responsible, so then that person's prepared. But I mean, I think it's a good solution if we don't have someone who permanently wants to be our secretary.
All right, so what I'm suggesting, you and I can sit down, go through the list, make a calendar, and propose it to the committee. If anybody have a call, and then we'll probably choose one person and a backup, and we could rotate it. So if it is so, I would like to make a proposition. I like to make a motion that we adopt this particular way of having our official minutes.
I'll second it.
So I move that we do that. Is there a second?
I'm seconding.
All right, the motion has been duly seconded. And I would say, I don't know if we took attendance before, because Courtney started the election. Did we make the attendance for the member of the committee? I see we do have a quorum. So, and before we do that, I'd like to introduce our new member, which is David Walters. Is sitting right there with me. I just for him to say a few words so you know who he is. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I enjoyed hearing all the participants this evening, and it seems that you're on the right path, and I hope that I can make a contribution to move things ahead. And that's all I have to say, basically.
Okay. Well, thank you. We are introducing David. He's been approved as a community resident member. Dave Walters is a former Brooklyn College professor. He's going to join us to help us this committee along. So let me get back to the mission. All in favor of the motion for having rotating duties for all the community members, please mention by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone opposed? Any abstention? Seeing none, let's note that let's note that the motion has been approved. I'm doing double duty, sorry about that. Next on the agenda is the Park and Recreation Association Liaison Report. Who would like to start? I think Courtney, we just got any information about the Prospect Park Alliance you want to bring us?
I think
one?
they've kind of done an update. I know that they have a public meeting coming up this week. Alexis McKenzie probably knows better than me. But there's a public meeting coming up this week if anyone wants to participate. I can look that up. Well, I see she's left the meeting. The other two I have are the Brooklyn Children's Museum. And I have been able to connect with them. I'm kind of working on that a little bit, but they did inform me that they do have family and friends passes if people are interested in that. The other one that I have is the athletic center. I'm in the process of scheduling a call with them, so I don't have too much information there.
You're talking about the major ones?
Yeah, I have a call scheduled with them this week.
Courtney, I know people at the Brooklyn Children's and Brooklyn Museum. If you ever want to contact me, I could help.
Thank you.
I've done extensive research on it. Yeah, and also like cool culture, all those things. So please reach out to me.
Great, thank you. And I know Naima is our contact, our liaison with the Brooklyn Museum.
I was going to call on her next, so she does have something to bring back to us. How about, go ahead, Naima.
Okay, I'm here. So yes, I was able to. Hey, Nick. Hey, everybody.
Mute yourself. We can't hear over her.
Okay, so I was able to connect with someone at the Brooklyn Museum who is very interested in partnering with us. And so she is working with her colleagues who also manage various programs at the Brooklyn Museum. And they're going to get together and connect with me and provide me with a list of all the different programs they have and how they can support the community while we support them. So they're super excited about this collaboration, and I am too. We just had our first connection just a couple of weeks ago. So I will just be diligent with following up with them to make sure they understand the importance of this collaboration. And so I'll have more information to share with you in future meetings.
Julia, I think you're up next with the Botanical Garden.
I spoke with Ethan from the Botanic Garden, and they have a grant for a tree survey, and what they're going to do is sort of count how many trees and what kind of trees they have in the Botanic Garden. And it I haven't invited him to speak here, but I will schedule him soon. And my next space is the Brooklyn Academy of Music. I wasn't quite so successful. The liaison that I have has passed me off to someone else who was not as connective as the original person. And, but I will follow up for the following February. And I was also connecting with a group called Brooklyn Brainery, and they said that they were too small to connect with anyone. They said that they just don't have any capacity. Like, be there or be square. If you're interested in Brooklyn Brainery, go over there. They don't have a website. They sometimes send you emails. They sometimes send newsletters, and but you could kind of chase them down if you found something that was interesting. So I'm going to take them off of our list. I was intrigued because they have all sorts of interesting things in the window, and that actually is the extent of how they connect with people. So that's it. That's my report.
Thank you for your report. Now we'll move to Ms. Brenda Pagan regarding the community gardens.
I had no idea that was what I was doing.
Well, just let us know what's going on within the community garden. Now, we had a conversation between you, I, and Julia and Ms. Briggs, and I think this is probably one of the things we want to bring out to the committee.
So I was unaware that I was the liaison because I wasn't at the previous meetings. But we did have a conversation initiated by Nicholas, Ms. Briggs, myself, Julia, and I regarding the community. Excuse me?
You were drafted, sorry to interrupt. You were drafted for that. Sorry to interrupt.
Told me that I was drafted for it. Then perhaps I could have followed up. Okay, but no one mentioned that to me. Okay, so anyway, in regards to community gardens, Nicholas would like us to have sort of a partnership with the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens. And at this point, we think it would be a good idea. So there's follow-up that needs to be done with Brooklyn Botanic Gardens to determine what that partnership would involve. Would it be with one community garden or with all? Would it be elementary school students or high school students? What would the partnership look like? So that's the thing that is right now, that's the only thing that I'm going to share that we may work on with community gardens. All right, that's it for now. That's all, folks.
Thank you very much. Did I miss anybody? Is anybody I missed that?
Ben, do you still have your hand up, or is it, do you have a question? Nicholas,
I just wanted to.
Go ahead, Jen.
I just wanted to share with Julia that Brooklyn FAM, a couple of, I and our outreach coordinator had a great meeting with two people from BAM today, the program director and the director of BAM Kids. And I'm happy to reach out to them to ask who might be a good contact person for CB9 in this committee. Would that be helpful?
Of course it would be. Thank you.
Okay, so
I guess send mail and I'll connect with you.
I also
Okay.
as well have
that sounds great. And
with
then
oh, sorry, Jen.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to extend
Go
the
ahead,
same
Ms.
other that I have as well, other connections with different cultural institutions. If that could at all be of help, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, we sure will.
And for Brenda, I just wanted to mention that there is the name is escaping me. It's an acronym that starts with B, but there's a high school that's kind of a vocational high school that focuses on environmental work, and they have a close partnership with the Botanic Garden. They're
Basis.
housed in that building on Classen. Is that right? Yeah, base, exactly.
Basis, yeah, basis, I think.
It's called
Basis,
okay.
okay.
Base, and
Oh, it's basis, sorry.
actually, the plan is to speak with the principal, Patricia Lombard. I used to be a teacher in that building and was there when that school was put together. So definitely that's one of our
Okay, great.
targets. So but I had a conversation with Ethan. He said we're going to try to reach the school. But when that school was formed, this was an initiative from Botanical Garden to form that school. So like Brenda said,
yes,
this is a discussion that we're going to facilitate this. Okay.
Okay, great. I just thought maybe they'd be a good connection if you want to engage students with the community.
Right. Yes, definitely. I mean, that's a building I'm still going to because I left there 15 years ago, but I never left it. So I still have some good connection there to myself. Now, Mr. Romeo, there's an organization that I think that's close to where you are, which is Friends of Wingate. I think we're trying to establish some kind of relationship. Is there anything you can help us with?
Friends of Wingate. I haven't been in that area, that park for a while. I can't say anything about that at this time, but I will investigate.
Miss Morgan, Vivian Morgan, last month.
Right. I haven't seen.
So if
I haven't
anybody
seen those
close
folks
to that Friends of Wingate, you could reach out. Because this is one area of the community, but that's not really, they keep thinking they've forgotten. Because the community board extend all the way to Utica Avenue. We don't have too much thing going on in the area where the community board is involved. So this is the only organization which is involved. I appreciate if you can do that and let me know. If you always get my email and my phone number from the office, and then let's have a conversation.
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, let me go on.
Next item.
Okay.
Okay.
Nicholas, you're muted.
Right.
I am muted. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is projects for the rest of the year. So my suggestion is each of these, if anybody that each of the liaison or group of people can sit together and come up with a project, because as soon as we can do that, we can submit to the board along with a budget. This is something I would like to ask people to do for next meeting. And I would also like to put on a motion that this committee move to the executive board and the general board a motion to have the prospect, the CB9 community fair on the Saturday after Memorial Day. So I want us to take a vote on that so we could say this is one of the things we decided that should happen again this year. And next time we meet next month, let's come up with all those projects and then we'll vote them and then send them to the executive board and community board for approval. I'm thinking same way I did with a group of people. We want to try to make, if let's say you decide to do, you come up with a project, we create a focus group of 2 or 3 people or 4 people. We work on the particulars and then we bring it out to the committee for next meeting. That's the kind of work we like to do in between each meeting. And I'd like to open this for discussion. And I haven't heard much from Ms. Briggs from the Union Street Community Board. I don't know if she'd like to say a few words after that.
No, Um, all I can say is that I'm looking into about the students that we had the year before the last, and they did get a stipend for working in the garden. I also talked with some of the members. Like I said, it's an obligation. They must come faithfully and help with these children. There was a person there, an initial person, I think his name is Carlos Diaz, and I'm going to talk further with him, and then I can give you more information. I tried to contact him thus far, I haven't been able to, but I will continue, and I will give you additional information on that soon.
Thank you. So
I must
does
go.
anyone has a? Okay.
I have to go to the airport. Okay.
Does anyone have any idea of some kind of activity you'd like for us to start discussing? This is the time to bring it. So before we move to all business. So if not, I like to make a motion that we move to approve the planning and of the CB9 Community Fair. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Say that again?
I will second. Julia will second.
Oh, Julia second. Okay.
I can't come out for
Is
some
there
reason.
anyone? So the motion is that the Park Recreation and Culture Committee recommends that CB9 have a CB9 wide community fair on the Saturday after Memorial Weekend. And that was seconded by Julia. All in favor? Notify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Any extension? Seeing none, it's been approved that the Park Recreation and Culture Committee will recommend to the Executive Board and the Community Board for the CB9 Community Fair to be the Saturday after Memorial Weekend. So let's, whoever takes the note, let's that be recorded that we do that. I don't want to keep people too much. We are a little bit 15 minutes over. So,
Gloria has her hand raised.
I'm trying.
Gloria, go ahead, Gloria.
No, I'm trying to close out. I don't have very much more to say.
But I will contact a group of people in between and have conversation separately. So by the time we come to the meeting, we'll have a lot more information because now we have a focus group on community board. We probably will have a focus group on visual arts. And something I've been working about, I think we presented last time, something called Art in the Schoolyard. I'm going to be meeting with Rena Twitch of PLG Art to discuss further, so we can have a conversation in between. And I think people like Naima will be very helpful in helping us to some of those artistic visual arts program within the community. You have your hands up, Ms. Briggs.
I'm trying.
You say something more?
No, I'm trying to take it down.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No, it's still been taken down.
Okay.
So are there any new business?
No.
Okay. A motion to adjourn is next. I'd like to thank everybody for
Make a
clearly
motion to
attending.
adjourn.
We have a good group of people here, and with 10 people, so we did have a full quorum. So I would urge everyone, if you can, attend the general board meeting in a couple of weeks. With that, will somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second it.
So let's note, the meeting is now officially done at exactly 8:47 p.m. I look forward to talk to almost everybody in between here and the next meeting.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good
It's been a
night.
pleasure.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Good
good
night,
night, good night.
everybody.
Right.